like it.
Welcome back. We are here for an NSIC D2 watch along. I'm Matt Pravratsky alongside my brother Mark. He is down at the Black Cart. I am sitting in a nice Pence home, and we are going to start by tuning in to Mankato and Southwest. Right now, Winona State and Sioux Falls are tied 0-0 at half. The 3 o'clock kickoffs are Mankato at Southwest Minnesota State, St. Cloud at University of Mary and Bismarck, and Crookston at MSU Moorhead. Those are the 3 p.m. kicks, and so we'll be checking in as the scores change. I think we maybe mentioned this when we posted it, but we'll mention it again. If you are watching, if you're a parent, former player, or fan, and you want to join in, DM us on social. We'll try and make sure we see it, and we will bring you in, literally.
Text us if you have our number. Come on in, man. The water is fine. But yeah, rivalry rock, Matt. That's what's on my mind. Crookston, Moorhead. I love it. I love the There's only a couple trophies in the NSIC, and so very fun. Love seeing if Crookston in their kind of growing year can edge out and get the rock back from Moorhead, because Moorhead's had it for a couple years.
And so that's one of the fun angles on today's games. Otherwise, standings-wise, if you're watching this, you are probably well aware of this, but Mankato currently in first at 5-0-1 in conference play, Bemidji right behind them at 4-1, and then it gets incredibly tight. 3 teams tied with 11 points, 3 more teams tied with 10. As a reminder, the top 8 make the conference tournament, and we are underway in Marshall, Minnesota. Looks like a fun field. This is one of the rare NSIC campuses, Mark, that neither you and I have been to.
No. I mean, look, we went to a speech tournament in Marshall, and we ate the Schwann's ice cream. So shout out to Marshall, Minnesota. That is the sole memory I have to associate. But yeah, no, I mean, also you can see
Mankato gets the, or I think Mankato gets the early corner.
Yeah, early corner for Mankato, for Minnesota State. Southwest, we're in pink. I think Matt and I were saying it must be a cancer awareness context. Whoa. So close. Wow. 2 shots on 2 chances. Rare to see him pink and purple, though, but nice to see the different color. Love it. Yeah, Minnesota State is absolutely rolling this year. They are fully, undefeated in the conference. Played a tough non-conference as they usually do. Got out of those challenges mostly unscathed. Couple losses, but nothing to be embarrassed about. And now, this would be a game they are expected to win. So we'll see how Southwest deal with the challenge.
For sure. These conference games are so brutal because even when you're maybe expected to win by a couple of goals, that's when another team has sort of nothing to lose and can really go forward and play with some guts. So we've seen Southwest pull points off people before the last few years, so look out for that. And we mentioned if folks want to join, they can message, but also for sure on Facebook and I think on Twitter, if you comment on the stream, it will show up for us too. So if you just have random stuff you want us to try and talk about, you can always do that as well. Mark talked about how strong Minnesota State has been so far this year. Maybe during halftime, we'll even pull it up and show the full sheet. But there's a really good site, Inkblot Sports, that does all of Division II sort of bubble watch and NCAA tournament watch. And Mankato's doing so well in the regular season. They're really probably almost thinking about, how well they can prepare for that postseason run. And for them, they're currently second in the Central region in terms of sort of how you would rank getting into the actual NCAA tournament. We've talked about it before, but it's heavily regionalized. So the 3 central conferences, you have to finish in the top 8 overall. Each conference is guaranteed 1 bid. So basically you either have to win the conference tournament or be one of the 5 at-large bids. And right now, Mankato would be in pole position, either winning the tournament or they're second in the whole region. St. Cloud right now is 6th in the region. Mary is 8th. And then you have to go down to like Augie, Minot, Concordia, Bemidji, all in the mix. But those teams might have to both finish really strong and make a deep tournament run to feel good about their chances. Of course, the NSIC conference tournament winner always goes through. But otherwise, all of those teams, Mary, Augie, Minot, and Concordia, and Bemidji, all within sort of spitting distance, but might have to do really well in conference tournament time. We're going to bring in the guy who runs Inkblot Sports, we're going to bring him on for a show just to walk through some of that, just because he does such a good job across D2, and we've never tried to dive into that space before. But
someone to give us some numbers to latch onto. It's nice to have quantifiable. Help us be smart. We got to understand this. I love it. But yeah, it is. We mentioned on some of our earlier shows, we had some coaches kind of relate to us how the coaches polls you see in D2 can't reflect exactly what you're going to see in terms of ranking for the postseason. So nice to get that insight.
Well, and the issue comes with the fact that some of the coaches polls are called rankings during the regular season.
Right.
And then the actual rankings, once they exist, are called rankings, but they're not the same thing. So it's really sort of like a labeling, like framing, like issue.
It's kind of like how we had to discover live in person that there is a video review in women's college soccer. You're like, wait, why are they paused for 2 minutes? What's he doing? Like, there's no like, there's really so little. Isn't there like very, very little written to say what the standard is for doing video? Is there? I got
the NCAA to confirm for us how it works, but
you got them to confirm. But yeah, like when I was at a game, I was just confused. I was like, why'd the ref go into the tunnel? I don't even what. Yeah, pro leagues don't have VAR. But yeah.
Well, and just tracking, letting folks know the other 3 games are officially underway. So St. Cloud at Mary, Mankato at Marshall, which we're watching now, and then Crookston at Moorhead. And so we'll flip around a little bit based on the scores. We just decided to start with this one just to see how it was looking.
Yep, the Crookston Moorhead game I have on the side, they're still 0-0. I think they're playing. Looking at the logo in the middle, yeah, they're playing in Moorhead, but
yeah.
Yeah, nowhere Matt and I ever played. I can't claim. Crookston, maybe.
Oh yeah, we played at Crookston.
Is it the same? No, but it's the same field. I don't.
Yeah,
it is. Why do you know that?
Because when we went there, why was I there? I was physically there for a different event, and I remember
energy thing or something. Matt was there for it. Yeah, there was some solar situation. Because honestly, why? I mean, I love Crookston, but you don't go there in accident. You go there on the way to Canada or for a destination. Well,
on the way to Canada. Mark, I'm going to start off. We have a bunch of different random trivia, and I'm not going to do it all at once, but we have some, especially Mankato related stuff. This is deep in the nerd weeds for all the parents and fans out there, but most Division I and professional teams use Y-Scout to do sort of in-depth data tracking and stats tracking. And Mankato is one of the few Division II teams that pays to do it as well. So actually all of their stats are in there. And that also means little nooks. Oh, a chance, but it's out. Looks like no contact, so it'll be a goal kick. And so actually a lot of their like in-depth data, the same level of scouting I do for our D1 coverage as possible. So it's kind of fun. You can go in and see things like possession, passing, but also the really in-depth statistical markers. So I just pulled a few of the regular ones. So far this season, Mankato has only been outpossessed by one NSIC team. Do you want to guess who that would be?
Oh, shit. Wow.
And excuse me, it's in the games they've played. So I don't have
four games. Yeah, like
I don't have
six games.
Yeah, so I don't have in their own game they were outpossessed by this team.
Did they play Augie?
We can pull it up.
Was Augie well, wait. Do you know? Well, no. The answer. Do you?
Oh no, the answer isn't Augie. No.
Okay. It was it. Okay.
And for some idea, this fall
Concordia. No, they didn't play Concordia.
Mankato this fall has averaged 52% possession, which is pretty good. Anytime you're above water, typically that might mean you have a little bit more control over the run of play.
Honestly, though, for how dominant they are at times, that's actually maybe lower. I wonder if it'll be higher by the time they finish the NSIC. But yeah, that I would get. They press a lot, so I would imagine they get the ball back quicker than that. But yeah. It's still Who is it? I don't know.
It's St. Cloud. Which probably would have been because I think like you mentioned and I mentioned, possession can mean you control the game, but honestly,
don't know.
Teams like Mankato don't always rely on sort of, even Bemidji, like at their height, don't always rely purely on possession. It's more like direct ball. So in that game, St. Cloud actually had 55% of the possession, which is about as high as it gets for a Mankato opponent.
St. Cloud, you're welcome. Another equal time boost. I have disrespected you for the bulletin board another time, and you're welcome for your repeat championship because of this motivation. So
I'm sure as they're playing a game, they're watching this show. Jade has it up on the iPad on the sidelines.
They have someone. They have a student. They have someone. But yeah, happy to be relevant again, St. Cloud. Love you guys.
One more, or there's only two more random Y Scout informed questions. So last year they were scoring 1.69 goals a game. This year it's lower. It's at 1.22. And we'll get into later. They're one of the
Minnesota State, you mean?
Yes, Mankato. They amongst several others are some of the very stingy defenses. So they only need to score 1.2 goals a game and still be really successful.
Yeah.
But what do you think? How would I phrase this question?
How many goals have they given up?
No, their XG. So their goals went from 1.69 goals a game to 1.22. Do you have a guess of whether their XG is higher or lower, and how much lower it would be? Because they went from basically 1.7 to 1.2 goals. Do you want to guess the XG, like what that would have moved?
I bet their XG might have stayed the same.
Their XG was almost exactly the same. So their chance creation, they were creating 1.57 expected goals this year and 1.55 last year.
Nice.
And that's a similar trend that's happened even with a team like the Gophers. People who follow our coverage more generally, they actually last year to this year, their XG hasn't wobbled that much, but their goal scoring is way up because their shots are just so much better in those moments.
Yeah.
So another thing where there's a lot of stability in a program like Mankato where like they just, producing 1.5, of those expected goals a game. Here's still
By the way, I have to interrupt, Matt. I don't know if you can hear this. I can. A bartender just came to open in the so I got to go turn the music down in here. But this is not a fake bar set. I'm really in a bar. I got to go turn the volume down. How authentic! I can't wait for bingo customers to help us.
I like that. I was talking to someone recently who said, "Oh, is that why it looks like there's a bar in the background when Mark's in these shows?" And I said, "Yeah, it looks like that because there is a bar in the background. He's at a bar." Mankato down the line, just a little too much on it. Yeah, so many of these games really end up bending those standings. Like St. Cloud and Mankato tied that game a few ago. Today, the really sort of crazy standings games would probably be St. Cloud at Mary. That's a big time game. And then Bemidji State at Northern. I don't know if we'll stick around long enough to get to that one. But Bemidji at Northern is another huge game.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mankato, deep territory. I think it's across the line. Yeah.
Mavs. That's a tough. I mean, so many of the teams play in football stadiums, but there are still really awkward sight lines like that.
Oh, yeah.
That don't instinctively. I think, I don't know, in peripheral, I don't think that, you can't just read that. Always.
But I bet these, for us, it's so tough to visually
They're
track.
used to it.
Yeah. I bet they're so used to it. Because honestly, even, like the good example in St. Cloud where there isn't a football team anymore, but it still is the field from then. And so it's, it's still pretty rare across sort of all of college soccer to have, purely soccer lined fields. I mean, even at some of these like really well-resourced programs, just because like facilities are expensive.
Might just be lacrosse too. It's not even football.
Yeah.
It's but no, it is. I mean, most of the NSIC players we talk to, say it's weird when they play on grass because only a few are on the
so
grass.
Used to it, yeah.
So which makes sense. You train on it, you play at least 2/3 of the team, So
I wonder if we tried. I'm sure there can't be another stadium that's more programmed than Seafoam at Concordia. Concordia has to be the most heavily used stadium, maybe
in the world,
maybe in the state. Honestly, like it's because it gets used for. It's lined for like 4 sports, just soccer alone.
I mean, my public school stadium in Duluth used to be quintupled. Yeah, I mean
Yeah, I played there when I was playing for Morris that season. Oh,
brag.
Oh, it looks like.
Do you want to switch to another game? I mean, Moorhead and Crookston is still tied 0-0.
Let's stay.
I'm looking just to see. Yeah, Winona and Sioux Falls is the early game. So they're still 0-0 in the second half for people who are watching. St. Cloud and Mary still 0-0.
Let's stay. 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 Let's st 5 or so more minutes on this one, and then let's try and grab maybe the end of Winona and Sioux Falls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mankato,
we might have an insider joining later
maybe.
to help us get. We don't know.
Maybe Mankato has definitely been controlling this one. I think this is such a good example of, especially at the college level, how the first sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes of a game, sort of every team can play really hard and play to their top fitness. And so really, the thing I'm sort of obsessed with talking about is like when games get to that 20, 25 minute mark at the college age is really when you start to see them bend, because subs will come in, the game, one team is maybe able to settle in, maybe subs come in. Oh, we have to jump over to Moorhead because we just got a goal, baby.
Yeah, the Dragons, huh? You got it? You grabbing it?
Yep, I'll hop over and we'll do a quick rewind. And Mankato almost had one too, by the way.
Shout out to the Dragons.
Apologies for the
love it
full visual.
Ooh, look at that. That's a good graphic. Wow.
Animation. Actually, I'm going to add the sound in.
Boom.
Too. Maybe
add
we
it.
can't.
Number 11, Lily Johnson, number 13.
We're practicing for the playoffs, people. Get ready for the NSIC tournament because we don't make plans. We do. We just make soccer plans. So we're going to be ready to try and do a whip around at that point as well.
All right. I rewound a little bit just to make sure we could see it.
See what we got. What a nice field. I've never been there either. That's a great soccer field.
So long free kick to the top of the box, all the way through, out for a corner.
So that must be the.
So Moorhead earns the corner on this near side. That does look like a really nice pitch. Wow, we need to get up and see.
I only know Jim got a field, which is Moorhead High School football field, which is where Dakota Fusion play, and I got it right. It's not in Fargo. I got it right this time. The town. Let's see this. It must be, huh?
Ball toward the PK spot. Touched up.
Really weird ball.
Follow-up chance. PK spot. All across.
Wow.
That's tough. That's a really
fun.
nice volley. A really nice redirect.
Goofy series of touches. Wow. How fun. Wow.
That's really nice.
It's so hard when the ball is bouncing at your mid-level. It's so hard to make a connection and get a shot.
You feel bad for Crookston to give up a goal like that, but to be honest with you, like a third of all goals in college soccer are like that. If there's a follow-up chance, then a follow-up chance, then a follow-up chance, it's just that chaos meter going up. And now, apologies to the Moorhead and Crookston fans, we actually need to whip back around. We have another goal to go catch.
Whip around. Winona?
We're going to go find it.
Yeah, Winona. Okay. Boom. Let's do it.
Oh, wait.
We're going to the 605, baby. We're in South Dakota now. Which, by the way, was it
that nice? Yeah, that nice stadium down in Sioux Falls.
Is this where I think Sioux Falls beat St. Thomas? A D2 Sioux Falls football team beat St. Thomas there like a couple weeks ago. It was crazy.
Okay, in football, you're talking about?
Yeah. But it was. I was like, oh yeah, I know those highlights. I've been there. Shout out to Army of the Falls. I got to text you guys about the ISC convention. Make sure you show up. Let's see how they get it.
So Winona down the line. Looks like they'll earn a corner. So another corner kick set up for us.
By the way, if you're watching this, if you've never been to the stadium, just beyond that crane lift you see behind goal is the bar that the Sioux Falls City fans hang out at. It is in the burbs kind of Sioux Falls, if you call it the suburbs, but it's a great setup of having the place right there. But we'll see what they get out of the corner. Well, we know what they get.
Driven, flicked up. Again, just that chaos in the box. Follow up.
Ouch.
Wow.
That was a good hit.
Upper 90. That was really nice.
That was good. Good for Winona. Winona's one of those teams that usually has to fight to get into the edge of the tournament spots.
And speaking of which, right now they're in 9th at 6 points. So this would be a huge 3 points.
And Sioux Falls to be honest, with Crookston having a better result, Sioux Falls, they're at the bottom of the table this year. So it is like Winona need to take advantage of this to find their place if they want postseason play, for sure. It's not as easy. Like, we followed the Summit League and just doing that today, or like looking a bit more at it, the top 6 make it. There's only 9 or 10. So
9 in the
NSIC
League
has 16 and 8. Like, it's in terms of American sports, it's actually kind of tough, especially in the middle. Everyone's really close. So yeah, Winona needs this for sure.
Well, and yeah, we talk about so much that you can really drop a game to everyone, which means if you're ever favored on paper, you just if you can't lock in the 3 points, you're just buried. I mean, there's no, and the same is true for folks at the top of the table. If you can't take care of business against people you're like multi-goal favorites against, you're just never going to win. Like, the only way you win the regular season or get that top seeding is you just have to take care of, like, you can only have like 1 or 2 games the entire year where you drop points you shouldn't. It's just so tight. The margin is impossible.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a Sioux Falls free kick.
Driven in. A little bit of a score bug issue. Let's see if we can. Excuse me. I'm going to see if I can skip.
Yeah. Minnesota State and Southwest are still 0-0. St. Cloud and Mary still 0-0. Both in kind of the 20th minute, similar to the Crookston game.
Hopefully that adjustment gives us a little more headroom up there, but just move the game screen down a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mark talked about the venue. I don't know if we explicitly said it. This is where Sioux Falls City FC plays, the WPSL team that has pro ambitions. And so Mark twice. Oh, and we already have to whip back around.
Not just ambitions, signed intent contracts, man.
So we've both been to this stadium, and I will just tell you, it's, obviously the football team plays there as well, but this is a really nice venue. I mean, it's a really nice stadium. It's only one-sided, but it's new, it's high quality.
Yeah, it's really professional. Like, the lower level is smaller and the upper deck is kind of big, but it's tight over the lower level. And so it's a really intimate, like, situation. The fans are there. Even when they have 1,000 fans, it feels great and amazing there. It's like if TCO, when you watch Aurora, if it was just one side of it, kind of, it's a little less concourse, but I love it. It's an amazing place to watch. And yeah, shout out, like I mentioned Army of the Falls maybe, but yeah, they are a growing fan supporter group for Sioux Falls City. And I'm sure they better be there watching the college game as well. Yeah, Crookston got one back, Matt. Yeah, you switched over.
Yep, we're back. We're back over. We're back in Moorhead at NSIC Field. Yeah, I mean, the only thing to complain about at all with this broadcast is just you wish this other camera we had was a little bit higher up, but this is actually a pretty good angle here.
Yeah, it's not bad. Especially,
Crookston deep into territory. Ooh, and it gets out wide.
I guess it'll come on the corner. Good for Crookston.
Excuse me. That was the goal.
Wait, no.
So we'll watch it again. Okay. Apologies.
Okay. Well,
a little bit of trouble with the sun.
Yeah.
So we'll check it out again.
Okay.
And
what a goofy defensive
here we go.
area.
Out wide.
And wait, no, that didn't go in. So maybe we just didn't get it on video. It might have. Well, let's see. Well, no, it's just not. They just missed it, I think.
Or did it get through the net?
I don't know. We'll see. Well,
because he called that a goal.
We'll have to read it later. I don't know. It was either that or whatever. But yeah, good for Crookston.
Well, no, it clearly was on that play.
But
it's on that.
It looked wide, right? It looked wide for sure.
Yeah, you said no. You can see the net move. It went through the net. The net happened to be loose. So that's a goal for Sarah Burgum for Crookston.
See what happened. Imagine I have glasses for like 10 years. Look what happens. He gets these. He's seeing better than me because mine are 10 years old. God damn. Yeah. Good for Crookston though. It is really like, honestly, last year they went 0-18, like, to not get a point or a win. This year they got a draw. They got a win early. It's just, it's nice to see a program having, you have to get those kernels of motivation to move forward. So,
well, and a bunch of the teams on the games we're watching right now, Winona, Sioux Falls, Southwest, Crookston, and Moorhead. These are teams that have to they have to walk uphill every single game they play.
Yeah.
And danger.
Ooh, no.
Whoa,
Wow.
what a save.
Holy shit. That was a really big save. Do a 10-second. Can you do a quick rewrite? Yeah. That was wow.
That was wild. Hold on.
And it was so quick off the.
Yeah, hold on.
Huge.
Big time save. Hold on.
Yeah, that was the Moorhead keeper. Or no, yeah.
Yep.
So let's see.
Wow.
Ooh, I think it was a hand glove save as hockey season kicks off. Yeah, that was
a save by Quinn Carter, if I have it right, because I think that was Crookston on the attack, right? Yeah, Quinn Carter.
Yeah, it was the Dragon.
Huge play by Quinn Carter.
Wow. Mary has gone up 1-0 on St. Cloud, by the way. It's the 24th minute.
All right, we'll flip over.
They're in Bismarck.
We'll flip over to that.
Mary game. Last year, continually disrupt her, but they are on some pretty good form this year. And
they've been
always just tough to beat, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there. Hold on.
Let me see.
Okay.
And it was like for Mary, in this year of they're always competitive, obviously, but couple people, just the people with goals for them this year. Malaya Burke and Rachel Gench both have 3 goals in 8 games.
So Mary out wide, driven into the box, an initial clearance, so another corner kick. We're sensing a theme here.
They're not as defensive as Minot, but they are definitely a team that locks it down.
Oh, this year they have been though. Mary has perennially been super, super dangerous. I think we mentioned earlier, they're right in 8th place. They would miss because of someone getting an automatic qualifier, but they're in the mix for an at-large bid if they keep playing the way they have.
I didn't realize quite how stout they've been this year. In 8 games.
Ooh, nice driven ball.
Ooh, Mary.
Head on it. Follow-up chance.
Wow.
Yeah, relentless. Just relentless.
I definitely undersold. I hadn't remembered exactly how good they were doing this year.
Mm-hmm.
They have 12 goals for this game, 12 goals for, 3 goals against in 8 games. So they are absolutely, Minnesota State also 14 goals, 3 against, but and Minot is more insane. I don't know if this is right. They have scored 4 goals in 8 games.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's just Italy. Like, whose Italian grandpa is coaching this team? Yeah. But they get it done. 3 goals against in 8 games as well. That is insane. I'm sorry.
For Minot State, yeah.
4 goals, 4 in 8 games. So they're just playing a different sport.
Just giving us another look at this corner goal by Mary in the follow-up.
They stayed in it.
Yep. I mean, that's like a fifth. That's like a 5th attempt. That's just so tough.
Well, St. Cloud, if they want to,
we're going, and then I just sped up, so we're back to live for the.
There we go.
St. Cloud at Mary. And
for St. Cloud State, they obviously, winning the conference game would be great, but just continuing to build and finding their momentum towards the postseason may be more important, because it is one of the main things for these teams, because we always have multiple in the NCAAs, is yes, they want to win trophies locally in the conference, but also kind of the bigger goal can be that they want to make the bigger progression nationally and take a step, win a game, make the Sweet 16. So
Mark, we talked about how stout some of these teams are. There are 5. Oh, dangerous. What a run. That's a great near post run. That's really nice. It just ends up wide. So there are 5 NSIC teams that are top 50 in the country in goals allowed average. Can you name them, and can you try to name them in order from least allowed to next least
Also,
allowed.
I had the stat. I don't have the stat sheet up because I was looking at it. Was in goals against average.
Uh-huh.
Well, Minot,
Minot is 10th.
Mankato, Minnesota State, Mankato.
Yep, Mankato is 6th in the country at 0.3, less than a third of a goal a game.
Yeah. It must be, I guess.
Well, we talked about the other
St.
one.
Cloud?
St. Cloud is 29th
One of
at
them?
only 0.6, less than 2/3 of a goal allowed a game. We
We
already talked about one of the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who are the other one. Who are the other ones?
Well, Mary, you forgot we were talking about Mary.
Well, yeah.
Mary and Minot are tied at 0.375, and then the funny thing is Concordia and St. Cloud are tied at 29th at 0.6.
Right.
Which is wild. Now, on the flip side, we talk about the quality of the NSIC overall, but these two stats really kind of show how defense really is carrying that water for the conference. So 5 teams are in the top 50 in goals allowed average in the NSIC. Only 2 teams are in the top 100 in goals per game. Can you name which 2 teams those are from the NSIC? And there's one.
Minnesota State?
There's only one that overlaps, and it's not Minnesota State.
Minnesota State? Yeah, I'm trying to think of who had easier non-conference records, who rang it up a bit.
I will say one of them had a slightly softer non-conference schedule, but the other one had a pretty legit schedule and has a really strong RPI because of it.
Concordia is one, and then
Concordia is 80th at 1 point in the whole country at 1.7 goals a game.
Because they didn't have the craziest non-conference,
but it was good. But it was strong enough, and they did well enough.
And
they're ranking really strong. I think I mentioned this before. They are just outside of that sort of automatic bid, even though they're only 5, 2, and 3, because their strength of schedule has been really
they
solid.
got some Well, I think they've had a bit of an easier early NSIC. I forget, but if they have a few tough ones after. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who's the other one?
And then Bemidji is actually above them. They're
in goals in offense.
Goals scored. Yeah, but remember they had a slightly softer than usual non-conference by their standards.
They've been lean. They've been kind of lean. Well, yeah, that's surprising.
Well, it includes all the games, so they're at 1.89. Corner here for St. Cloud, lofted across. Ooh, nice job.
It is when people have played 8 or 9 games. If you had one where you scored 7 or something, it does. There are. Yeah, we're still in a time where we try to be a little critical of stats because there are certain misleading things.
Yeah. Well, and on the while we're talking goals, because these are lean lists, there's only one NSIC player in, I believe, the entire top 100 in goals, and they're at 20th. Who do you think that would be?
Barthelt.
Barthelt. Yep. Katrina Barthelt. Kat Barthelt has 7, so she's 20th. A completely different player is top 10 in game winning goals. I will say it's a name that I very much recognize because it kind of sticks out, and she's been around forever. It's not like one of the conference player of the year folks, but it is like a long time NSIC mainstay name.
Not on one of the contenders, or they are in.
It's Concordia. I'll give you that.
I think I only looked at their assist leader recently. I don't know who their goal leader is. Who is it?
It's Sammy Ponsonby.
I think I know I typed their name last week.
Has three game-winning goals this early on in the season, which is really impressive. And then
that's cool.
You know the assist champ down at Concordia with 6 assists, Amaya O'Hearn.
That's who. Yeah.
Yep, she's at 8th in the whole country, which is super impressive.
Yeah, no, dropping dimes, and they don't score so much that it's she's making it work for sure.
I'll save our save percentage trivia for the second half. We'll save that one because
I'm trying to remember how many the keepers I remember.
Well, just maybe we'll name them by team, and I can name the names. But similar to the goals against average, the keeper strength in the NSIC is ridiculous. It's like The
Well,
NSIC
it's
is
the
drunk.
contrast. We talk about this. If you have the keepers who play on really successful teams and they're really good but don't face a lot, and then you have the people in the bottom teams who are battled, and then their stats are you can tell the difference. But yeah. St. Cloud are at the corner to see if they can come back now.
Yeah, let's look. I would assume it's Brooke Quam standing over it. Can't quite tell, but she's sort of that set piece taker. Lofted, far.
You marry with the inflatable walkout tunnel. You can tell for the football vibes. Who is it? Was it Jade? Who is that? You marry Jade from
played
St.
there.
Cloud? Yeah, played at You marry. I think there's a few You marry alum who are coaching around the world. We follow now.
I forget who the other one that came up was, but yeah, that's. I mean, they've been successful for a long time. They're led by Sarah Cook, longtime head coach there.
Shout out to Bismarck. Yeah. And the Pravratskys out there. I'm sure there's a couple.
There's a few.
Check the phone book. We don't know them.
Yeah, there's a few random uncles and great aunts out there.
So to update folks, Moorhead State and Crookston 1-1 in the 12th minute left, or with 11 minutes left, I should say.
No, they're 11 minutes in, I think.
It's actually counting down.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
As far as I'm processing the
apologies.
Numbers.
Honestly, it goes both ways. There are times
in college, that is confusing because in person they
count down.
Yeah, we have to. It's like inches and quarts and gallons. We don't. Why do we have to make up our own stuff? Good for Mary. This would be huge, though. By the way, I mean, like Mary beating St. Cloud would be,
but it's also not the type of result that would
shock me.
It's just a huge win, because we talked about they're one of those teams that's on the edge of the at-large. A win against St. Cloud would just be really big in the RPI and in the points, but also the seeding really matters in the conference tournament because of the way it's set up. So the first
especially becoming the first seed, right? It's like,
because then you can host if you advance. But even aside from that, we mentioned the format is that the top 8 teams make it, which is really pretty competitive. Like for a conference with 16 teams, top 8 is like really competitive. Yeah. And so the first 4 teams in the opening round, all the top 4 seeds host their requisite. So 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, blah, blah, blah. And then it's only once the teams advance, the remaining top seed gets to host the semis and finals. St. Cloud doing the best they can to try and level things before half.
There's a player wearing gloves or one. Oh, it's one glove. Okay, it's one. I thought it was temperature. I'm like, it's 70 degrees, but
might be a wrist thing. Yeah.
It's one glove.
And so, like you mentioned, being the top seed has some value just because if you win, you get to host. But then even just getting to the top 4 means you get to play at home in that first game, which you could argue is even more important just because you're guaranteed that first home game. So. So they're right.
That's the difference with a lot of the teams like who are 3rd and 4th. It's like if they get that win in the tournament, that might be the extra. Yeah. Oh.
Well, and we love the NSIC and we love all these different colleges, but like some of the travel can get nuts. And so for a team like Mary, not having to do an 8-hour bus ride to Mankato, is a big deal.
Out there. Yeah. Them and Wayne and they're.
Well, and even just a team like Northern, the difference right now, they're the 4 seed, but they're tied with 2 other teams. Actually, Wayne has been having a really up year. We haven't really talked about them much, but.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that ball. Ooh. Holy smokes.
Oh,
look at that trailing run.
Whoa. Mary. Can they? Oh,
wow, clutch clearance.
Tried to make the unselfish play. She could have also just bit it and tried to do a far post shot. Yeah.
I think that was. I'm trying to shout out the right center back. That might have been Zerna. No, it wasn't Zerna. Yeah. Trying to shout out the player who cleared it. That was a clutch clearance in the back.
See if Mary gets another shot on the second chance.
Yeah, but we mentioned Wayne has had an up year, which is really impressive. All the way up to 5th, which I think is above their traditional band, right, Mark?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't think they've been in the tournament for
in our era.
in the last 3-4 years for sure, before COVID maybe. So no, they're similar to a bottom third team where they certainly shock and above perform in certain matchups. But I mean, credit to you asking me. I'm like, I don't remember the last time.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, in our era, the mainstay tournament players in the equal time covering the NSIC era, obviously there's a lot of, that's a narrow band, but in that era, the traditional conference tournament players would be Mankato, Bemidji, Concordia, recently St. Cloud, Augie, maybe Northern, maybe Duluth.
Winona in the historic times. I was saying,
but Mary, Minot, I feel like I've already named 9 teams. And so, like, if you're outside of that group, you're always battling to get in.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask you trivia, Matt. I was shocked by this number. I knew there was, like, of course, like, I didn't follow the NSIC in the 90s. I was but a boy. I was studying. I was, and I didn't know how many titles this team had won. My God, how many NSIC titles? By the way, it's kind of like World Cups. There's only like 3 people who've won NSIC, and there's like 3 with 1, and then who has Winona has the most? I'm guessing maybe. Did you know that?
No.
Wow,
no.
Embarrassing for an equal time founder and editor. How many? So the total number is from 97 to 97 and 96 to now. And how many do you think Winona has won from 96 to now? It's kind of UNC shit. It's like
nice corner kick. Oh, good save. But it looks like another corner. So 96 to now. So there's very roughly 30, like 28 conference titles or whatever.
26, I think, total. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's like 26 in our time. Mankato's won a couple, Bemidji's won a couple. St. Cloud won last year, so that takes away like 5. So let's
quit distracting from the answer.
I'm arithmeticing. Let's pretend there's like 20 to work with. Oh. You said it's like UNC and
borderline.
So what, like 11?
11. Let's see. I'll tell you the year.
Danger again. Wow.
And by the way, it has been a while, but there was a time from. Let's see the point this is when they won 99, 2000, 2002, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. Just an absolute murderer's row. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
We need to, I want
to know.
We don't regularly go back. Like, I don't regularly talk to like stars from like the 90s Gopher teams. We should just talk to someone just for like I mean, well, honestly, if someone randomly has a connection there, set us up.
Right after that, by the way, is when Minnesota State was like, yeah, I guess we'll be good now. And then they started like rolling. But no, that would be hilarious. And also, I'm so curious, what a murderer's row of titles. Did they have some money going? Did they have any bags being handed off? I'd love to know that there was a car dealership in Winona handing out bags.
I seriously doubt that. But if the star forward on the Winona
State, it's an SMU situation. It's an SMU Pony Express situation.
Mark's making references that people won't even. Not everyone watched every 30 for 30 like we did. But if the star forward on any NSIC teams is getting an under the table like car in the 90s, that would be great. I would love that.
Might have to be us. Who does it?
Yeah. Well, now we would do it above board and just brag about the NIL
I'm gonna get someone a car to work at Blackheart. What?
Oh,
doesn't make any sense.
So Mary up. Oh, did we see the Mankato goal? We didn't do that. That's recent. We'll go back.
Check.
We'll hop over.
Yeah.
Excuse
Crookston and Moorhead still 1-1. Mary's up 1-0 on St. Cloud. Winona deep into the second half, just 1-0 up on Sioux Falls. Winona's definitely in that group of teams, like we said before. They need to scrap in to get the 8th spot, and so this would be they got to win this for sure. So they're up 1-0 in Sioux Falls. Shout out to maybe Joe DeMays they're watching. We don't know.
All right, let's hop back. Apologies, we missed it because I was chit chatting about whatever. Want to make sure we can go back and see the full run of play. Oh, another corner. Are you sensing a trend, folks?
Mm-hmm. By the way, what is this ad in the bottom? It's Chanel.
Channel,
what?
yeah. Must be like Channel Insurance. By the way, we should know that. If
I was
anyone would know
thinking
that,
Chanel, like, isn't the a brand?
We'll look it up. We'll look it up.
We don't know.
So I will say the corner kick thing, I joked about it, but it really has been a long going trend in my college soccer coverage of like, if a team isn't dangerous on corners, sometimes they're just settling for them. So like total quarter numbers. But you see this one driven near.
Ooh.
Wow, good initial save.
Come in and get a shot. Get a shot. Oh!
Oh, so just got blinded. I think just a blind spot.
It was a gunky, yeah.
That's too bad.
Wow, that's the goal. Well,
that's really too bad.
Shout out for the Mustangs. I mean, they're holding on. I mean, to be keeping it this tight. That was kind of a fluky goal. So shout out to them.
Let's watch again. I want to watch it again. Okay, so and then a nice punch save initially.
Did well to just take it. Just a skip on the turn. Yeah.
Just so, or I guess maybe just like a whoops, just like a mistake. I mean, like that happened, obviously.
But it bounced early and it went, yeah. I mean, that's the thing of, hey, when we were saying some players love playing on the turf, that is the difference. Balls will bounce. That'll skip through. Although they don't water it as much as pro games, but that was
It is also a reminder of, like when I'm broadcasting games and you see if a keeper has like a save percentage below 70% or something, it is kind of the reminder of like, listen, it might not look like that shiny, but that is why you put goals, like shots on frame. Like you just chuck it.
And in this game where it's like, Minnesota State they're expecting to win for sure. They haven't got a goal. It's like, you have to just start trying to get whatever opportunity you can. And so,
and we said earlier, they've been really successful this year, but they're not some explosive offensive team. Like they win by never giving up goals and then just finding one.
They're balanced in terms of who scores. Yeah, they have a good it's pretty.
Well, they only score just over a goal a game. I mean, like this could be like the goal. I'm sure they have a chance to put up another one, but like it wouldn't blow my mind if this was the goal of the game. Like they live on defense.
So Matt, let's bring in. We got an insider.
Let's do it.
We can bring in. We're gonna bring it, and maybe she can bring her kids in too for the clicks. Chrissy, can we bring the kids in for the
views?
No, they're not with me.
I was going to ask so former Moorhead head coach Christy Kopitz, longtime NSIC presence, a longtime Minnesota soccer presence, U of M Crookston Hall of Famer. We can't ever forget.
A Highway 75 trophy winner.
Man, you guys, you're pumping my tire right now.
What else? That's what we're here for. Yeah, no.
Friday.
But yeah, we are watching. We had the Crookston game up earlier and the MSC Moorhead game up. Obviously, that's like you're a conflicted Derby representative for that.
It's basically the
fun to see the two goals. I will ask you this because Matt and I were joking. I was guessing that rock. How much do you think the rock weighs? I think I asked you this before, but I'm wondering how much the rivalry.
Oh, for sure, like 20 pounds. I feel like is.
I thought it'd be more. I thought it was like 50. Yeah.
No, but it is really heavy to carry on and off the bus. And like one time when I think we lost the rock, I had forgotten it. And so like, it was brutal to have to walk back to the locker room, carry this heavy rock, knowing I have to give it to Crookston. And it's just so heavy. And it's like the end of the game. And yeah. It's a real trophy. Like
I remember you telling the story about you having to walk back. That sticks in my brain a bunch. I'm trying to find a picture of this monster.
Oh, it's great. It's like I feel like it's 2 feet by 1 foot. It's kind of like a big, yeah. What do you remember about Christy? Do you think we were talking about this before, but like for the teams that are like Minot and Mary, where then they end up, or like Wayne too, end up with really long road trips? Like I don't know if the travel is so different between a team. Like you're okay, I guess, because you can get to the Dakotas quicker. But do you feel like there was a difference? Like did you feel like certain teams really had to come against it to like travel barrier?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think us and St. Cloud are probably the closest to the middle of the conference geographically that you can get. But I mean, from Minot, when Upper Iowa was in the conference, I mean,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
travel was really hard. And
Uh.
with the previous coaches at Minot, they sometimes would ask to stop halfway at our place and do a little like walk around and then go.
Can we use your facility? Like just to,
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
It's a long way to travel for some
Yeah.
of those teams.
It's, you know what's funny? The comparison I would draw is like, I don't think one that any NSIC person would make, but we had Claire Gagney who played for Brown in the Ivy League for 4 years.
Mhm.
And I asked her this question thinking the inverse would be true. I said, oh, is it crazy to be in the ACC, in this version of ACC, where you literally are on both coasts and, oh my God, these trips are so big and blah, 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 versus the Ivy League in my mind is so compact compared to other athletic conferences. But the funny thing is, having what seems like a compact conference in D1 means you just bust the whole time versus everyone else in D1 flies. And so she answered the question completely the opposite of what I thought, which is
made it worse.
the Ivy League trips were brutal because she was driving from like Providence to like upstate New York, and it's longer than you think. And she was like, "Oh man, I'm on the bus and whatever."
I think
And so-
relative, by the way, the NSIC people
sure.
travel way further. Yeah, they're like 12 hours. Well, the Wayne and Upper Iowa of the world.
Yeah, but it was just funny because the NSIC footprint it's decently contiguous in the sense that like there are teams sort of scattered throughout, but when you have to make the big trips from end to end, then you're really sort of, and obviously no one from Minot or Mary are going to feel sorry for any of the rest of you. They're going to be like, whatever, man, all our trips are long.
Yeah, but it is when you're like planning for these things, what's the cutoff for when you have to stay overnight?
Yeah.
Right? Like you want to balance the success of the athletes, but also keeping them in class. So I think I stayed like 4 hours for me. Like if it was over 4 hours, we're going to try to stay overnight. If it was under 4 hours, we were going to go day of.
Yeah.
Was it like kind of when you'd get home, you're like, I don't want to get home at 2 or 3, or is that kind of like you'd think of like, well, I don't. Like,
yeah.
No, because generally it's more of like an academic reason. So you know, that would be the reason. But
well, and for those who haven't had to do the weird like scheduling, booking, travel stuff, I've only had like bits and pieces of having to do roles like that, and like the sort of best practice, if you had the resources you had, would be that like you don't want to travel on a game day, so you travel the day before, you stay over, body gets a chance to acclimate, you do your walkthrough thing, maybe even during the travel day, but then maybe also the morning of the game day, blah, blah, blah. And then, traveling after the game is sort of viewed as less of a deal than traveling day of, just because of like the amp up into the game versus the cool down and blah, blah, blah. But like you're saying, that's sort of like if you're resourced, if you have all the options in the world, if blah blah blah, and if you're scrapping it with the budget you're scrapping it with, like especially if a trip is like seems really attainable, like if Mankato's going up to play Concordia, or St. Cloud's going down to play Concordia, or Winona's playing Duluth or whatever, all of those, or you playing St. Cloud or whatever, all of those are so by the scale of college soccer, so doable, that I'm sure all of you just have to be like, well, we're going up in the morning if it's a but do the afternoon kicks probably make that a little interesting too, because then you really are sort of traveling a lot closer to game time than if there were like 7 p.m. kicks, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on your philosophy, I guess, and like how creative you can get with like locker room space, or maybe stopping halfway to do something neat with the team, or I mean, honestly, it's all on how you spin it anyway, and like your ability to sell it to the team as like a benefit,
right?
But it's definitely if you've ever traveled on a big bus like that or driven in a car for 4 hours, like it's hard to get off the bus and hop into a game.
Right.
Like, it just is. Yeah. So you have to get creative with how can you make it less hard, or try to set them up for success.
Well, and it looks like we'll shout it out. I can't remember if we said it explicitly or not, but all the 3 p.m. games are in halftime, and the 2 p.m. game is finished. So that means Winona earned all 3 points on their trip to Sioux Falls, which is big for them. They were sitting at 6 points. Now they're up to 9. So they really are sort of at least keeping themselves on those outer reaches of the playoff space. Right. They have a new coach. We haven't talked a ton about that. Mark, I don't know if you've mentioned that in your roundups and I missed it, but
I don't think so.
I'll pull up her
Christy,
name.
I was going to ask you about this because actually your former team, one of it's their only win of the NSIC. They did beat Winona, which they'd want to if they were trying to make their way up the ladder of teams. But also, other than that, tough results, kind of. I wonder, like, when you're halfway through, so a season like this, and they kind of have a lot of the good teams left. I mean, they have like Bemidji, St. Cloud, Minnesota State, they have Augie, Minot. So it's like they're facing a tough slog. When you're the coach halfway through and you're kind of like, we kind of lost maybe more than I wanted to, and now we have tough games, like, how do you make short-term goals, or like how do you emphasize to players to kind of, because you're also feeling anxious, like, shit, we need to do better. Like, what's your angle of, like, it's honest and it's also a strategy of, like, how do you, try to turn it around? What do you say to them? What do you say to yourself?
I mean, anyone can beat anyone on any day in the NSIC, right?
Good.
Like, we beat Mankato, absolutely not expected in the slightest.
Right.
Like, nobody would have predicted that. So I guess I would rely heavily on, like, maybe some other results that I could point to and say, listen, like, we can do this. I guess I would also put maybe a little bit more emphasis on game planning specifically for that opponent, because now results, there's no more wiggle room. There's no more games left. So, like, you have to do what you can with the games that you have left. So trying to be maybe a little bit more intentional about, lineups, and I don't know, looking a little bit more into the other teams would be probably what I would do to help myself through that situation.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'd never understood this as a coach, but the teams always play really well against the better teams, and then it's always tough against the easy, or not the easier, but the winnable.
It's a weird, but it's true. It's true at every level. I've talked about it with the D1 teams I cover. It's always really funny talking to people, like when I'm talking, like last night, the Gophers got one of the biggest wins in recent memory at Ohio State. And it's really funny. Anytime I talk to people about like that or other situations, they're like, oh man, that game's going to be tough. I'm like, yeah, but that's never the game that they disappoint in. Like, the game is, they never, and the reason being, and I can't speak to this and by the way, just shouting out Delaney Marrier, the new coach at Winona State. We'll eventually have her on. She's a long time, was at Woodbury before the merger with Salvo, is a big time contributor and leader at the Salvo Soccer Club. Just shouting out because Delaney carrying on the tradition of one of the not enough women head coaches in college soccer. So shouting out Delaney.
Yes. Good job.
But the whole tough game, easy game thing, I try and remind folks, like, part of the vibe in situations like that, or that when a team, can you guys still hear me? Okay, cool. I got a weird notification in StreamYard. So the part of the difference is when you're playing a team that is ranked much higher than you, they're going to be so comfortable playing their own game and playing wide open that they are going to leave more space for you to do more things easily. And especially at the college level, I think about like how much space you have to operate as being one of the single biggest determinants of like whether you can do anything. Like when you're all boxed in and a player's forced to think twice as fast as usual, they're going to mess up and there's going to be stress, and then they're physically not as good because they're all worked up and anxious. And when a team thinks they're going to beat you 2-0 or 3-0, they're not going to worry about like staying behind you and shutting down space. They're going to play wide open. And then if they're playing wide open, you all of a sudden actually have passing lanes and you're not against a parked bus and there aren't 9 defenders behind the ball. But when you play in these tight games, half the time, like, college teams know how to stay like behind the ball. They know how to stay behind their player. And that's why games in college are so wild. It's either 3-2 Minnesota, Ohio State, or it's like 0-0. There's so little middle ground because either a game shuts down or it's wide open. And I feel like there's like so rare that a game is in the middle. Like you're either watching like 2 people punching each other in the face or you're watching like an actual track meet. It's so funny.
Yeah, for sure. I asked the players once like what they thought about this in like leadership captains meetings. And somebody once said that it's because if you're playing a really good team, you know that if you don't come with your absolute best, that they're going to just crush you. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it could be 6-0. So
True.
like, you better come or it's going to be really embarrassing. I'm like, but what about if you go and you're trying to beat a team 5-0? That's so exciting. You know?
It is. I guess it just reflects our regular life because that's what we do too. With like,
Yes.
yeah, because you're like, oh no, I didn't eat at work. I just slacked off. Whatever. Yeah.
True.
I do wonder when you, to follow up, just to ask, like when you are in the moment of how you're trying to motivate the players, how much does doing that actually help your own mindset and make it's kind of like self-talk of like affirmative like statements and stuff? I'm just wondering for you as the coach, because you know part of it is to motivate and part of it's not true, and you're just like trying to get to the next place. I wonder how much for you that ever helped you just then believe and then get into a different mindset.
I mean, sure, 100%, right? Like positive self-talk is good, as important for the coach as probably the players, for sure.
Well, do you feel too, like another funny dynamic I've seen, especially covering the women's game, where we talked about Delaney being one of the a little bit too rare, you know, women head coaches in the space. And what I've found interesting is like when I've had the chance to interview, like hire a couple of head coaches, you know, when I'm trying to help out with Aurora. And there's been times where when you're interviewing them, you have to compare these coaches' resumes. And I found even myself, and I think people hopefully would think of me as being like a pretty positive, optimistic, like supporter of women in the game. But even myself, you compare these resumes, and there were times where I remember asking a coaching candidate, like, you've coached players at these several types of levels. You're going to have to be coaching someone at these types of levels. How do you think it will translate, blah, blah, blah? Or how do you think of your skills as translating, blah, blah, blah? And sort of implied in questions like that are like, if you've only coached at level A, why do you think you can coach at level B or blah, blah, blah? And there was a really thoughtful answer from a coaching candidate at one point who said, well, keep in mind, like not every team and club is going into this with the idea that they should be providing more opportunities at large. So like, keep in mind that if I'm like a 40-year-old woman who's coached in the game for 20 years, I may have never been given the chance to even coach at like high D3, let alone D2, let alone D1, because that's just the way society has been. You know, like even if I'm capable of being a coach, and it was such a good reminder to me of even really good women who have been coaching and are really good coaches don't always get even to the level of opportunity, like to the coaching you've done, Christy, of like the NSIC. I think in the world of like coaching soccer, being a head coach in the NSIC is probably viewed as being like pretty darn good, like like a pretty good opportunity. But it was such a good opportunity.
Paid better than a coach in Iceland or something. I mean, look, we're just
somehow
not
Iceland,
enough.
Somehow Iceland catching strays. That
I love Iceland,
but I just think it was such a good reminder for me. And I'm sure you live this, you know, both in your personal life, but also like your friends and colleagues and peers, the idea that we're still not really in a place where trying to expand opportunity is like that common for clubs and teams to give a shit about. Like it's, you know, they want to win. And so they're doing what they think is supposed to be about winning. And so maybe they rely on outdated instincts and blah, blah, blah. But it means that the whole coaching pool suffers for it because then you just get stuck in these sort of dug in. And by the way, holy smokes, we are changing games, but you can speak to that while I switch us over to a different game. If there's anything that jumps to mind.
I have a couple points to add to that. One, like coaching soccer, the game doesn't change, right? It's the player management that changes. So in my opinion, you know, when you're thinking about moving up levels or down levels or laterally or whatever, you know, you can coach the game, I think at most level, good coaches can. It's about your ability to manage players. I think at the higher levels is more challenging. Did something just happen? Was there a goal? Is that
dude? Southwest got a goal back.
Well, I'm really trying to balance not fully spoiling things, but also giving it away by switching to a goal.
I watch a
game.
lot of Golazo whip arounds. It's fine. People know it's coming to a goal. There's a reason we switched. Yeah.
Well, I will just tell you, this is like
huge.
I don't know what happened. I rewound so that I wouldn't see it.
In the pink
so
and purple.
So Marshall working downfield, start of the second half.
Send it to the middle.
Pretty deep, 40 yards out. Cycling out, some nice patient build-up play.
Nothing ball.
Mankato's.
Those colors are really.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
Pink and purple, baby. It is. Yeah, you don't see a lot of sporting. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be really funny if no one had ever watched a women's soccer game and then they see this and they're like, they
how
think it's
gender appropriate, right?
It's like set bladder.
Hold up play, top of the box.
Ooh,
some nice hold up play.
Ooh,
nice. We've had some gunky goals today.
I'm actually as impressed. I'm as impressed by the hold up play as I am with the shot.
Yeah. No, good for them. That's been a couple goals that just have bounces in. That's wow. And that's a big goal for Southwest.
Huge. See if they can hold on.
Wow. All right. It was scored by Haley Mason. I'm going to look up. Make sure we can give her some more shout out.
Shout out Southwest. Yeah, not a team we get a ton of shine on. So good for y'all. Glad we could give a little bit at the moment. That's great. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, gentlemen, I gotta hop off. I'm at the end of my break.
Christy,
thank you, Christy.
Thank you so much. You're the best. Well, we will continue dragging you in, baby.
I love it. I love it. It's so fun. Thank you so much,
Christy. Quick before you leave, who do you hate the most in the conference? Just so we get clicks.
Oh.
Do you hate anyone?
Hate is way too strong a word.
Ah, shit. Okay. Well, we missed out. Next time, we'll get some clickbait next time.
I can tell you who I'd least like playing.
No, that's polite. That's like
okay. All right. I'll think about my answer and let you know next time.
Crookston, because it's conflicted. We know. Yeah. Have a good one. Thank you so much for joining after work.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
So we mentioned the lack of women in head coaching roles in the game. I mean, just as rare is to have black coaches getting that opportunity. Just a shout out to Clay Glasgow, who's the head coach at Southwest Minnesota State. Been there at least a few years, maybe 3 years. And then his assistant is Cesar Carrillo. So shout out to the guys down in Marshall doing a good job. That's, we mentioned, I mean,
Southern Minnesota, by the way, in terms of inclusiveness in the growth of games, it is kind of the place, because Austin Villa and the UPSL, I should say, is how I recognize this from like women's. And also we have all the women's summer league teams in Rochester who have a lot of players from the area.
Yep.
But in the men's side, especially, the diversity is so sick to watch it in Worthington and in Austin, Minnesota, just teams that are built on immigrant communities.
Well, and you said Rochester, right?
Yeah, the Rochester teams, I mean, they have a million teams, and people from the area, they have a lot of mix of diversity. It's cool. Yeah, because you have to spotlight it because it is too rare sometimes.
Yep. Shout out, we mentioned Haley Mason scored that one. Trying to pull up her career stats. She has been an absolute mainstay, started every game, played in every game. This is her third goal of the year. She also scored against Fort Hays and against Crookston, and she has been around forever. She has played more than 40 games for them. She started more than 35. She's been productive every single year of her career. Played 1,000 minutes both of those first 2 seasons, so nice moment for her. There's no better feeling in the NSIC than scoring against Mankato at home in front of the home fans.
Hey,
that is
at the pitch with the dads with the air raid siren. I love that.
Well, no, this is in Marshall.
But you're saying no better feeling than scoring in Mankato. I'm saying
I'm saying score at home versus Mankato, so you get to score in front of your own fans. Well, that's why you get the love.
I was gonna say, looking at the NSIC titles too of other people. God, I mean, we like Duluth is just more of a fighting for their playoff spots in recent years, but they're third with 5. They had a run.
Oh yeah,
right. 97, 98, 2001, 02, 03. They had a run. So yeah, shout out to the Bulldogs, because Greg has been there doing work forever.
Yeah, really, really long time super well respected coach. He's someone when we have folks on, they will like sort of shout him out without us bringing it up. Like other coaches talk about it. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, it's Greg Kane with now his assistants, by the way, now because they had some additions, but Sydney Burrell, Aaron Blanchard, Ginger Flohog. But yeah, a dude who works in the club game in Duluth, handles the college part. I mean, yeah, clearly just growing the game for over 30 years now.
So we're still at 1-0 Mary over St. Cloud. We are now tied as we're watching Mankato down in Marshall, and also tied still with Crookston at Moorhead 1-1. So all these games really in the balance with the final 40 minutes to go. And then also shouting out, again, I don't know how long we're going to stick around. Mark has to work tonight, and we'll see how long folks even want to stick around. But Bemidji is in Aberdeen, which is actually one of the bigger games of the day. That and St. Cloud versus Mary are two really, really huge games for the final standings, and also honestly for some of that national ranking. So we'll see how that one turns out. That one's at 5:30. Stick around for that one. And then let's see. I was going to look at for those trying to do
later. Yeah.
Well, no, during the early planning for Sunday, St. Cloud is finishing the Dakota trip, so they'll be playing Minot, another huge game. Duluth is playing Mary, huge game. Minnesota goes to Moorhead. They should be favored in that. Winona goes to Mankato. Mankato should be favored in that. And then Southwest and Sioux Falls might be kind of a fun game just for being.
Oh, you should switch. I just got a text from Christy. Switch over to the MSU game.
Uh-oh.
Spoiler alert.
Holy smoke.
I find it kind of fun when you know the goal's coming. You're like, how's it going to happen? But yeah, it's she. She said,
wait, switch over to what?
Moorhead and Crookston.
All right, let's do it.
I didn't see it, but maybe they got a text or something.
Or maybe we're just getting tricked. She's just showing her bias. She's just having us go,
Classic.
She's just playing her game with us.
Pranked me that Moorhead got a goal.
And this is live. I didn't go
maybe she was saying, I think so, unless she was saying, she's at MSU. So, she meant Minnesota State.
See, and now
Mankato.
We lost.
She was respecting the brand. Yep. My mistake.
That's all right. We'll go right
Apologies
back
to Minnesota State when we say Mankato. It's just what people have said a lot of our time. But
we're not. The thing we're not supposed to say is Mankato State. They're still, you could.
They still want Minnesota State instead of Mankato, though.
But that's objectively, it's crazy that they're allowed to be called that. I'm acting as if I'm a policy advisor at Minsky.
No, Matt's being honest.
Well, I've said it to them too. I said it. I think I probably said it to Kevin Weisman.
Well, it's confusing when I write because I'm already so bad at English class, and so to write.
The only reason it's confusing is because we have like 9 state schools.
Well, just with Moorhead, where it's like MSU Moorhead.
Ooh, so ball through. Oh, so this is Mankato starting from the back. So building from the back, and we rewound a decent amount just to make sure we could see where it happens.
Yeah, it's Uh-oh.
Apologies. Okay.
Yeah,
so restarting from the back again. Mark, talk a little bit about that dual keeper setup down in Mankato. They've been crushing it.
Oh yeah, they. I mean, for the past, like they had Mackenzie Rath there for years, starting every game, and then now, I'm gonna double check just so I get the names right, but they are like basically a pure split. They've had some games where the players actually played 90. A lot of games where they played 45.
Oh wait, we missed the call on this.
Let's see.
I was looking up the keepers for you and we missed it. So we'll stay locked in. We'll shout out the keepers after this. Claire Longville is 1. And then Lauren McAlpine, 2 just absolute standouts. Okay, so Mankato on the run out wide. Gets the ball in the right wing. Nice cut in. Ooh, that's a nice shot. That's Avery Korshing. She has been absolutely lethal for Mankato. And it's given the assist to Anna Van Wingarden, another one of their just long time standouts. But that was a really nice finish. That was like,
yeah, just clinical, solid. Yeah. No, and for the two keepers for Mankato, Claire Longville has played a bit more, like started 7 games versus Lauren McAlpine started 3, but they're splitting a lot of time. And I mean, yeah, it is. I find it fascinating when teams are able to rotate keepers in that way, because so many people just do not want to do that as a coach. And so, yeah. South Dakota State this year is again on basically a pure 50-50 system. Yeah. And they, again, too, sometimes it's 50, it's each half, and sometimes it's the whole game, which it just means the keepers are
always
solid mentally. Like if they're able to prepare for the changing role, because it's very different.
Well, Omaha,
no other position has that.
Omaha, I think, for maybe one of the first times has been doing it as well, or I noticed that earlier. It's
nice to keep the players engaged. I think most coaches don't even want to have to try to deal with it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, and also, it's impressive when you really do it. If I was a coach, I would not want to do halftime. Although if they got used to it, but I don't think I would want to do halftime. I'd switch games, but yeah.
I think that'd be my bias too. I think we've talked to, I think part of doing the halftime is like, every week is a game week for you or something, but I guess you could do Thursday, Sunday too.
No, I mean, I get how it could work. Yeah. No, and shout out to,
shout out to
Jocelyn Turner we had on, and she is now kicking in for the Minnesota football team, right?
The Vixen, yeah.
Yeah. So, along with Maya Turner, who's still kicking for the Manitoba University college football team for the boys. And
she just hit a 48-yarder. She's like 18 for 23 on field goals, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
While we're talking keepers, let's do this last chunk of trivia, Mark. I mentioned earlier, 4 different keepers are in the top 50 nationally in save percentage, and to be honest with you, 4 other ones are just outside it. Like, so two keepers are at 55, one's at 61, one's at 74. Can you try and guess
which teams they play?
Yeah, which teams in the top 50, and then I'll name the players and their save percentages.
One is maybe Crookston. No.
Oh, sorry, just watching that chance for Mankato. That was
is
really
one of them
dangerous.
Crookston's?
Yep, Crookston. Jordan Metz, who's at 30, who's 38th in the country with an 857 save percentage, that's a really, really strong save percentage. That would be top 50 in
especially
Division
a team
1
that loses a lot. Like it's not like they have that percent with taking a lot of shots.
With big sample size. Yeah, big sample size.
And then I guess Mary
does not have someone in the top 50.
Minnesota State
Mankato, Claire Longville is 8th with just with ridiculous save percentage, 917.
Oh wow!
With a good minute sample, like you said.
Wow.
So she's 8th. Jordan Metz is 38th. So 2 more that are in the top 5 in the country.
Maybe Bemidji. No?
Bemidji, well, sorry. Alfieri for BSU is 61st, so really strong, but not quite in the top 50.
Yeah. They've had a bit of rotation. I don't know. Who are the other 2?
So this is one of those where I had to check the minute count too. Siriana Godino for Minot has a perfect save percentage, which usually means they only played a few minutes. She's played almost 700 minutes.
Wow.
Are
how
you
many
kidding?
Saves that? Did you see how many?
No, but I didn't check that. But as you said, they've only given up 3 goals all year, so you can believe it globally. But still, to be perfect is crazy. Wow. Ooh, another chance for Mankato.
When I got when I got a 100 out of 100 in a women's studies class on a paper, and I was like, something's wrong about me getting this 100. It wasn't perfect.
Must be something.
I am sure I made an error, but she did not. So credit to her.
And then in 3rd place nationally in save percentage from the NSIC is Sydney Potter for Concordia. And they've had multiple keepers see time too, but this is a 500-minute sample, so it's enough to be real. 929 save percentage, which is just bonkers. And then filling out, I mentioned there's a couple just outside the top 50, so I want to shout them out too. Rachel Hicks from Marshall, actually, who we've seen stand out in this game a few times, 838 save percentage, which is really strong. And then Muriel Oram from St. Cloud, also at 838. So,
Mm-hmm.
and excuse me, Carter from Marshall is who was making. Oh, excuse me, Carter from Moorhead is who we shouted out earlier. She's 74th in the country.
Right on.
So
Wow.
impressive
Nice.
stuff. Goals against average and save percentage. Two kind of nice statistical markers that show the defensive prowess.
Right.
of
Well,
the
and to the
NSIC.
credit to the. It's too hard to list too many names, but credit to the defenders who are helping the keepers with those defensive records.
Oh yeah, goals. Well,
If only we had better defensive stats to spotlight the individuals.
Well, goals against. I don't think you do either, but I never use goals against as like a keeper stat. Goals against is a team stat, 100%. And the keeper's a huge part of it, but like that's a team stat, 100%. I think save percentage is a little more individual, so usually I'm willing to attribute that to the keeper. So
We'll
corner
see if
for
the
Mankato.
corner results. Tried a clever ball, not really getting through.
We'll hop over.
Check out. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go to St. Cloud. We haven't checked in on St. Cloud.
Yeah,
in a
let's
while.
do some St. Cloud.
St. Cloud.
Yeah, Crookston and Moorhead are still 1-1.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that one ended that way, but who knows? I'm assuming that St. Cloud is going to push to get back.
We didn't watch long. It's all good. It also for those type of teams, it's like when you're so used to always being the team on the defensive.
Yeah,
they both have to try to be the affirmative squad. And it's like you play 2/3 of the games fully holding back and surviving. And then, so when you play each other, one of the teams has to see if they can actually be the assertive offensive force, which is like in all of soccer levels that happens. Yeah.
Well, and speaking of which, we just had the opposite of the broadcaster's curse because a goal just occurred. And so we're hopping back, baby. Apologies to Mary and St. Cloud.
We did it.
We are going back.
Highway 75.
So I believe we're back enough that we should be able to grab it. Sorry in advance if I have to go and do some jumping around again.
They really, they're really kicking it around.
Well, just a moment. Must have either been a injury or something going on. Or was that a moment of review and it got confirmed? Oh, let's go back a little bit more.
They don't have review in D2, do they? Huh. What the?
So I'm assuming. Let's just watch from here. No, I'm going to go back again. Sorry. So I'm assuming what happened here is that a foul or an inciting incident was whistled, and then we're reviewing the incident. So right now, Crookston kicks it out. So it's a throw for Moorhead. So Moorhead with the throw deep in the attacking territory. Moorhead in white, Crookston in that maroon.
Yeah, the goal has to be soon.
So Moorhead throws it in. The Moorhead players are asking for a handball against that Crookston defender, it looks like. And so the official is going over to his assistant, chatting with them.
Oh, yeah.
Checking in. He whistles. It almost looked for a moment.
Wow.
It looks like he gestured. What?
I don't know.
It looked for a second
Where
like
is
he
he?
gestured.
He's asking the fourth official now?
No, I think they are doing video review.
I didn't know they had that.
Well, so I can't confirm for sure if this is the D2 rule, but the rule in Division 1, and it might just be this for every level, is that any game can have video review as long
just up
as
to the host.
If both teams agree and the host says they're capable of providing it. So I believe that's likely what's happening because I don't know where else they would be going.
Wow. Well, no, it is a weird pause.
And so you see, that's why we saw that moment of the Moorhead players.
I think.
And they're celebrating.
And
there we go. We'll take one more look at it just to see, but
yeah.
So I believe what was called on the field is that there was an attempted cross and a Crookston defender did in some way touch it with a hand.
Yeah.
So then we get a penalty called. And so Moorhead gets a penalty. They're standing over it. Let's take a look. Nicely placed. And that
just
goal for Sarah Elfrida Monk-Nielsen.
It looks like, I'll say in the back, it looks like they have flags for where the players are from. It's like there's a Colorado State flag, a Canada flag. So I'm like, I don't know how many we got.
That's great. Well, Moorhead on top for the Rock.
They are. I mean, it's a fun rivalry in the sense that Crookston, who isn't going to win a ton of games every year, like Moorhead's a game they can get a result in, and so it makes it a fun rivalry. But yeah, I'm sure I would think the numbers are heavily skewed towards the Dragons in terms of who's won it most years. But yeah, we love a rivalry trophy.
Well, and speaking of the flags, Sarah is from Denmark. She is a senior. She has been super productive for the Dragons. She's played and started virtually every game of her career, so she's played a ton of minutes for them. So fun moment for her getting that goal in the rivalry game.
Christy said when we asked her about improving the team, she's like, sometimes you're lucky. And she was just one where she was like, I don't know, she'd be good. She was from Denmark. I'm like, and she's been,
Well, let's hop back over. I'm going to pull us back over to St. Cloud because I have a feeling they're really going to be throwing forward trying to get a goal.
Right.
And so here is, they're in the attacking third with a throw. Looked like Trapino maybe took that. She was a stud last year as a freshman. Already has been really dangerous as a sophomore. Mary trying to get downhill the other way.
I find Mary's mascot is maybe like the most ironic that are they the Marauders?
Oh, yeah.
But they're in Bismarck, North Dakota. You're like, can't find a river to get to the ocean to save your life, Mary.
There must be a non-nautical version of Marauder.
I mean, it's just, it's like bandits and pirates where you're like, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just who roam from place to place making attacks and raids. So in a way, it's like a...
He did the work to Google it.
It's like a locationless, a non-location specific pirate. I like that.
So, sorry, Mary. There's lots of Marauders in Bismarck.
I mean,
shout out to the oil tycoons who are marauding.
Listen, they could either be the 47th Wildcats school or they could be the Marauders. I love a local base.
Yeah, I love it. I love a local base. Yep.
Also, like Moorhead being the Dragons. Like Dragons is not that common. I like that.
Well, that's where Dragons used to live.
Oh yeah. Mary with some danger.
Ooh. Yeah, this is, honestly, for St. Cloud, it's not as if they have to finish first to make the NCAAs. I'm sure their main goal is to move through the NCAA, but losing games like that, like they're going to be in a tough spot. It's a big win for Mary. Like Mary's been solid, but really, really big if they hold on.
Yeah. Well, when we brought the example to give folks who don't spend as much time, like deeply trying to track the random nooks and crannies of like win-loss across all three conferences or whatever. The example to give is last year when we broadcast the final rounds of the NSIC tournament up in St. Cloud, there were so many coaches around and we were doing some coach prep conversations. And so, we sort of luckily and selfishly for us got to get a lot more like inside conversation with these folks. And the thing folks kept saying is, St. Cloud was going to be good for an at-large bid either way. They had already won the regular season championship. They had won so many games that they were already for sure going to be in. For them, it was a question of whether they would host or not. So St. Cloud was so good last year, they had a chance to host the whole like central whatever. And so for them, it didn't matter as much. For a team like Bemidji, who ended up getting into the final and getting through the tournament with a deep tournament run, it was sort of viewed that they needed a deep run in the conference tournament to continue to up their RPI and get into those ranks. And so what might happen is a team like St. Cloud might be that position this year. So if they drop this game and maybe other points, they still would be in that conference tournament range almost certainly. But what they might have to do is actually just not even for the sake of winning the conference tournament, which would be great too, but they might need the conference tournament so that they can rack up additional wins, if that makes sense.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. It's there could be a year where we get 4 in. It would be interesting. That would be incredible.
Well, and this year could be that, and this year could also be the exact opposite because of where that bubble ends up being. So
yeah,
like,
no, yep.
So like,
no, I mean, you can't take it for granted that you're going to get 3. It's been
right.
That thought's close. I mean, and we will say another game has started. First half game. Augustana hosting Concordia St. Paul,
which is another huge game. Holy smokes! Now we have top over there. Wow.
Yeah. So they're up 1-0. But yep. So Augustana's
Mark, let that illusion exist. Let these people have that.
That's not how the Golazo shows work. People know it's a goal coming when you
can.
Over.
Mark and I only prepare so much, which
you don't watch Whip Around. This is how Whip Around works, man.
No, this is the point. Mark actually watches Whip Around, and I just
nothing but time, baby.
Dream up a version of it.
Ain't no job.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay.
Well, good job by me.
Seems casual.
I'm not.
They racing. They warming up.
To be honest with you, this is the video link it gave me. So
let's show the Kabaddi League on from ESPN Plus. Shout out to Kabaddi for anyone who watches Kabaddi, South Asian sport.
Is this wrong? Ooh. Oh wait, here we go.
I don't think the NSIC has Kabaddi yet, but they will soon. And Google it, and you will laugh because it is a funny sport to watch.
You think Jamestown is going to bring it when they join?
It's literally like tag on a volleyball court. It's insane, and it's a real professional sport in India and Pakistan.
So we had mentioned
trying to go all the way back. Okay.
So we'll watch a little bit of the lead up here. So we mentioned that Augie and Concordia historically have been in that tournament mix. And on Augie's part, we're sort of selling it short. Up until a few years ago, it really was them and Mankato as the the powers of the conference. And when I say these phrases, everything is relative. They had like a down few years, which just means they weren't curb stomping every single team every time
they're always in the mix.
Still in the mix, still in the conference tournament. And the same really kind of could be said of Concordia, just a perennial conference tournament threat. And so both of these teams are always going to be headaches for each other. And look at that ball.
Oh. What a goal. That was a sick ball and a sick header. Hell yeah.
Whoa.
Go
that cross was insane.
Locals. 55104? Concordia in the 55104?
No, that was for Augie, though. The goal was Augie.
My bad. Well, the 605. Then.
So hold on. So nice slotted ball across. Just look at that glancing look. Just sees it.
She just...
Ooh. Perfectly
that was a really
weighted.
Smart header.
So Audrey Parnell scored it. They're giving credit for the assist. So Erica Lehman and Connor Rylance, apologies to Augie. I'm not sure who played the slotted ball and who did the cross. That cross was so perfectly done because it was exactly far enough out that the keeper couldn't get to it. But also, what a
confusing
goal.
colors. I didn't know Augie would wear gold shorts like that. Yeah, I know they have the accent. Yeah. Shout out to the Vikings. Wow. They are, currently 3-2-1 in the Summit, but like you said, or in the NSIC, but they'll always find their way into like the top 6.
And so this is, I don't believe I don't even know if I've seen this field on stream. This is Augustana's field that also looks really nice.
Yeah, grass. That must be, so what? They have grass. Mankato has grass. Who else has grass? Crookston has grass. I guess Moorhead was grass. Moorhead was grass,
yeah.
And then I don't know about Wayne State and stuff. Yeah.
We need to get down to Winona too. We'll eventually get down
Taking the train.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I'm going to hop back over to St. Cloud and Mary just because that's later into the game.
Yeah, we'll see the end of it.
I'm going to hop over because I really do think another goal is likely to happen there.
Yeah.
Dangerous ball in, but nice save.
Oh man. So yeah, for people watching, we're going to for sure have some sort of watch along going on when it's NSIC tournament time. We'll have some sort of watch along during probably the Summit tournament. We'll see what we can do. Also, the Big Ten is in Minnesota. So yeah, we're gonna have a bit more of these. They're kind of easier for us. Nice to be able to just watch and flip around. So stay tuned because it's about to get dense for postseason time.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely nuts during conference tournament time. Thankfully, to be honest, the NSIC conference tournament happens after the D1 conference tournaments. And so, well, the nice thing is we're always able to dedicate a lot of resources in the D2 postseason for that reason. So we'll see.
Hopefully
So-
Matt can drive to Bemidji and sit in snow again this year like he does every year.
No disrespect to Bemidji, but I am really glad that you are not in position to be hosting this year.
What do you mean not in position? Just you mean standings wise? Yeah.
Yeah, they just won't be.
I mean, look,
Mankato
we're provincial.
could.
We're provincial people, and Matt travels plenty. But it'd be nice if Concordia hosted. Well, we're local boys.
Yeah, Coach Bellis, if you ever want. Oh, look at this downhill. Oh, okay. So a follow-up shot. Ooh.
I love. Wait, that what?
Yeah.
Wait, go. Yeah.
Oh, go back.
Maybe they'll replay, or you can go back.
What'd you miss?
I didn't see the actual goal. The shot itself.
It was just it bounced back out, got cleared, and it was a follow-up chance. We're getting.
That's a bummer.
So see, ball barely gets through, and there's an initial clear, which is great. And then a follow on there. Brenna Hudson.
Holy.
That's really nice.
That's a good one time.
That's a really good hit.
Wow. That's a really good one time.
Also, we're getting a shout out from someone named Gene Pravratsky in the Facebook comments, whoever that might be. Mom, if you want to join the show, just text one of us. We'll give you the link. We'll pull you in. You send her the link. I'm whipping us around. I'm gonna go back to St. Cloud again because I do think it's just we're destined for something. Shout out to all the Minnesota snowbirds who are down south. Hopefully you're all safe. Like our folks, they got out of the Tampa area. Hopefully anyone else with family. I know there's just tons and tons of Minnesotans with family down there. So, and we did not come soon enough. We are about to land on something big.
Ooh. Also, I'll take this time to shout out New Mexico, a totally safe place from hurricanes and maybe the preferred option for retirees. I'd consider New Mexico if I were you, but I love you guys.
I think right now Minnesotans have been choosing Arizona in the Southwest, but you're right. Our grandparents lived in New Mexico.
You can do that too. Yeah.
Do you have strong feelings like between Kansas and Missouri too, or?
Yeah. Lots of thoughts.
Okay, so St. Cloud out on the attack. Trapino is there.
Oh my God! Through.
I believe that's Primerano working the box with the ball. Tries to cut through. In through.
Oh!
Holy smokes!
God!
God!
That was a goal! Wow! That was fun.
Whoa!
That was an amazing, clever setup. Hard finish, like to get the ball up the air and volley it like that to make contact, and like she got it perfectly arched. Amazing.
I'm going all the way back. Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah, for the Huskies.
So
good job, St. Cloud.
Primerano has been lethal, like from the minute she stepped on the field for St. Cloud. So has Brooke Quam. For those who haven't watched St. Cloud much or whatever, Primerano is like a classic, like toolsy wing, just super lethal, number 2. And then Brooke Quam is like a great box-to-box midfielder. She's number 8. She's like a true natural 8. Watch this trailing run. Watch the trailing run. Quam coming over. Primerano all the way through. Oh.
It was a bad bounce too, and she just reacted.
And the finish back across the goal mouth too.
Yeah. That was sick. That was really good.
God.
Amazing.
There
you go, St. Cloud.
I think I'm going to keep us here just because we're towards the end of the game, but I do want to shout out that Mankato did put another one up. So Minnesota State now 4-1. That goal was by Marin Johnson, the 4th goal for the Mavericks.
Moorhead and Crookston still 2-1 to Moorhead. And then, the Augie and Concordia early still. Yeah, let's see if
Mary with the corner. This is tight.
Let's see what happens here.
Lofted to the PK.
Ooh.
Dude, these corners and the recycling, like these teams are doing such a good job recycling it.
Yeah, it's been a lot. And for folks watching, by the way, too, of course, whenever we're doing live stuff, shout out, I'm here at the Black Heart. We will be showing, actually on Sunday, I think I'll be showing Liverpool versus Man City women on TV in here. But yeah, we'll toss on college games if you want, as long as we have access. And it's my office for doing these live streams. So shout out to the Black Heart.
Well, and the thing I tell folks is if you're a random like suburban family, like your kids play in the NSIC or they play in the Summit League or they play at the U or St. Thomas, whatever. If you're not someone who really comes to Midway except for Loons games, the thing I always tell folks is come during one of those Sunday mornings when European soccer is on. Come during a Saturday afternoon and ask us to throw a game on because. Yeah. If you're not like used to being in our neighborhood and it feels weird to you, come during a random daylight shift at the Black Heart.
Hit me up. The soccer times are so inclusive. We have just runs of
big
parents
patio,
with toddlers, parents with kids, people who are, I think Mary Casper was here who calls games with Matt. Yeah. She's like, oh, can we put the GoPro? And BTN Plus is not the easiest, but like we'll put on whatever. So yeah, show up. We got you. Hit us up on social, and I'll be ready for you.
Yep. And the one other random shout out I want to give before we go out, only because I bothered looking it up on Y Scout, you can sort by sort of XG, which is if folks aren't big time nerds, it's when a play should be an expected goal based on the quality of the buildup and where they are and the positioning, whatever. So XG is sort of if you create what would be an expected goal. The same exists for assists for XA. And for Mankato, one player in particular, sort of you can sort by total XG and XA, and you can also sort per 90. And so that's one way to see if a player has maybe some organic upside to their game is maybe they don't have as many minutes, so their total XG and XA isn't there, but their per 90 is up. And there's one player in particular who jumps up the list per 90, and that's Mila Rustin, who's from Farmington Hills, Michigan. She's 7th in the team in goals and assists opportunities created overall, but she's 4th in per 90. And so maybe some upside in the sophomore from Farmington Hills, Michigan. So wanted to give her a shout out just because she jumped out. And by the way, Mankato just put another one. Lucy Wenninger hit a penalty.
5-1. Yeah, they're now. Yeah, that's the type of thing with the team with.
And we're gonna go back. We actually
with Minnesota State's like intensity and the way they press. It's kind of like eventually they're gonna sub. They're gonna work you. They're gonna get their goals.
It's also a classic floodgates situation too.
Yeah, once you're up.
Okay, so Crookston heading the other way. Ball over the top. Moorhead trying to shield. So the Moorhead defender was trying to shield the Crookston attacker.
Trying to be smart.
So that the keeper could get it, but just cheeky. Oh, and Sarah Burgum, her second of the day.
Crookston, oh my God. I mean, honestly, it's hard enough for us to find ways to spotlight teams if there's not obvious like.
Look at this. Look at this.
Ooh.
Just cheeky.
Got the foot in there. But I mean, come on,
Burgum.
man. I mean, for a team to not win any games last year and now be competing and like I mean, what an easy team to cheer for. Like amazing.
Both of these teams, both Moorhead and Crookston.
Well, yeah, but I mean like Crookston, even for how they're never the contender, but they should literally go 0-18 last year. Like that's unfair. Like unfair to the players. And then they clearly have regrouped. They have their coaches are, they have new coaches. They're cool, amazing.
Also
fun.
Folks can let me know if I'm getting this wrong. I'm pulling from the live stat, so I think I'm getting all of these right. I believe Sarah Burgum has 2 goals on the day. Entering today, she had a goal and 2 assists in her whole career. She's played a ton of minutes. She's been around. So she triples up her career goal count with a brace at home in the rivalry game, which is
that I mean, Crookston doesn't even get to score that many goals. It matters so much.
All right, we're gonna hop back over
into a break
to Mary St. Cloud because I've a feeling that if something's gonna happen, that would be.
And I confess, I don't remember. Do you remember if D2 goes to overtime? or if they go to shootout or just
I
tie.
think that's across. I think it's across.
They
What Mark's
switched it overall.
what's Mark's referencing is in D1. I'm gonna put my own bias on this. They finally got rid of extra time in Division One.
It was bad,
I believe
man.
I believe it's for all divisions. So, and the
It was
reason we really disliked the extra time rule before is that you still could end a game in a tie. So a lot of the times it would just be 30 more minutes of wear and tear for no
Torture.
reason. And
Yeah.
so if a game is able to end in a tie, I would argue, and player health would argue, you just let it end to a tie
Right.
after regulation.
It was there was, especially in the stretch of, I mean, it coincided with the time when the Gophers were somewhat
Well, and
very middle table. So we watched a lot of overtime.
And to put it in NSIC context, these teams play on Friday and then Sunday. So there's only a game in between, which is really tight. And then a lot of these players are, even though there's a lot of subbing and a lot of coaches do a good job of rotating and whatever, you're still talking about really crazy minute counts. And these games being so close to each other is part of why you see these monster rosters in the NSIC at times. Now, neither Mary or St. Cloud are like the monster of monster, but you see even on that shot, Mary has about twice as many subs as St. Cloud on their bench. Now they're playing at home, but still. Yeah. And then when you watch a game with Mankato or Bemidji, they have like 40 player rosters. And so, you know, there's that partly they're doing that to have good training environments and a lot of options and a lot of energy and whatever. But partly they're doing it because college soccer's a grind and the games are close together and you want to have bodies. So
we talk about, I mean, like they have, we'll see if Mary gets in again. No, not yet. But like we talk about, I mean, athletically, there's a lot comparable to D1, like expectation, time. It's a lot of commitment. But also, these aren't, even in D1, they aren't looking to be a professional soccer player. They're not in this level either. They're very academic. So yeah, they face a lot. Like they do a lot of academic work. They get good grades. They're, you know, it's women's soccer is a safe haven for Dean's List Awards. And we'll see here now, Mary might be able to sneak one here.
Yep. Let's see. Lofted ball, top of the six. Nice initial clearance.
One blocked. Yeah.
Nice job. I think that's Zerna chasing that down for St. Cloud.
Wow, I've never seen ads where those are right by the football. Yeah.
Oh, on the field,
right, MDU, like huh. But yeah, like we said, so many people play on stadiums with so many lines. They get used to reading the game through those markers, but that is so funny.
So goal kick for St. Cloud, just 7 minutes to go. All the other games are still static where they were. So Augie is up 1-0 at home against Concordia. Crookston and Moorhead tied in their rivalry game. I guess if it's a tie, the current holder keeps it, I would guess. But they have about 12 minutes to go in Moorhead. There's about 5 minutes to go in Marshall, where Mankato's up big. Minnesota State Mavericks up over Southwest Mustangs. And then this is 1-1. So we'll stay here unless something pretty crazy happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
So a card there for number 19.
Red.
Whoa.
Second yellow or red?
Hold on, I'll go back.
That seemed red
back. Straight. Well, now we need to, if it's truly a
And by the way, for folks who haven't, we did post, the timing was a bit off this week, but I did post a new D1 piece. Ooh.
So hold on, let's watch. Okay, so a tackle. So hold on, hard tackle.
Red straight. Oh, yellow. Yeah, second yellow. Okay. Second yellow. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough without multiple angles. I don't know that I see that as. I mean, it's anything is callable, but that's tough.
Wow, late.
I mean, the other thing is going down doesn't always, unless you can really take advantage, doesn't always give you.
Well, and we were switching around. Maybe she had other fouls earlier as well, but that's tough. Wow.
I believe. I'll pull it up. I believe that may have been Minnesotan Ava Visner who got that second yellow. Full play-by-play.
Yeah, Minnesota State now.
Wow. Yep.
Ooh.
So a second yellow. Ava has played forever for the Marauders. She's one of the mainstays out there. They have a bunch of great leaders. She's a senior from Big Lake, Minnesota.
Oh, nice.
That's man, that's an unfortunate second yellow. I bet if we talked to Sarah Cook about that, and I don't remember we didn't see the first yellow, but that one was. I mean, that's a big call.
It wasn't. Yeah,
that's a big
you
call.
could go either way for sure. Yeah, and we did. Minnesota State had a goal to get 6-1 back to 5-1. So I don't know what the story is on that, but yeah, a couple minutes left.
Got called back, maybe.
Yep.
St. Cloud into the final third, but Mary able to clear. We mentioned Mary just does not give up goals. They give up less than a third of a goal per game, or around a third of a goal, excuse me. And so this is the funny thing is St. Cloud has already quote unquote succeeded in the sense that they scored on Mary. It's just they're gonna need a second one to come away with all 3 points. And also we should say coming away with a point on the road against Mary is still a quality result.
Yeah, it's just
but for St. Cloud wanting to get comfortable in that at-large space, they probably do need to win at least they need to win in Minot on Sunday if they're going to take a tie today. We mentioned earlier, if folks weren't here, they're 6th right now in what would be the rankings for the Central region. That's as low as you can be and still be comfortable. So any loss or tie puts them at risk. For an at large.
Well, it's like a lot of other college sports where the main thing is just having the momentum at the right time. But so true. Let's see if Mary gets.
So corner here.
Only gonna get a couple chances. Yeah, just too deep.
I think it's Mo Malone taking those for them. She's one of the really long time standouts. For the Marauders, the senior from Placentia, California. She also starred Sioux Falls City, so maybe Equal Time folks have seen us mention her. She was really, really good in the conference tournament last year, as was, I think Ellie Olsen is the other player I remember just being absolutely impossible at center back for them. Mo Malone more that sort of, you can see was taking, I believe is the player who was taking the corners. Apologies if I'm getting those wrong. Oh, Olivia Gardner, another one that sort of jumps out in my memory. Ooh, a lot of contact.
Ooh.
See, that's the funny thing about these games. You see that slide tackle that gets called a yellow, and then that doesn't even get called a foul.
Yeah, you don't.
Just kind of, because it is shoulder to shoulder. So it's just funny.
Well, and I will say we mentioned many times, but shout out to if Crookston holds on in this game with Moorhead to have 5 points. They had 0 last year. So they are just taking the step they need to take to like build into, the next step, which is it's fun. We talk a lot about the contenders in Mankato and Bemidji and St. Cloud. So fun to see Crookston having a really competitive build up here.
Well, and even when we talk with Christy and others about how do you grow from like the bottom third of the table to try and get into the middle third, how do you get into that middle class where you feel like you're getting some results? And a team like Southwest is exactly like that. For them, they have to experience today what ends up being a 5-1 loss. But, if you're them and you have to find moral victories and things to feel good about, they kept that game close for a huge chunk of it. They were tied deep into it. And yes, you end up losing and the scoreline doesn't feel good. But the truth is we were watching decent chunks of that game. We saw them pull level and they were level like deep into it. And so you do just have to take away what you can. And now St. Cloud into that final third, just 3 minutes to go. We'll try and do a little bit more of a call.
Let's see.
Okay. Ooh, some nice redirect. Not quite able to connect, but still in the final third.
You can see how tough it's been for both teams. Like they're just trying to find whatever they can, like find a chance, get it in the box. Like just
nice turn by Brooke. Oh, not quite able to get there. And we don't always talk about Mary as much as the other teams because they're not in Minnesota, but they do have a handful of Minnesota players. Sophia Lang, number 5, just had a clearance a little bit ago. She's also from Big Lake. We mentioned Visner, who unfortunately went out. Freshman Harley Peltz from Albertville is on this team.
Here we go. Run in. Ooh.
Nice clearance by Mo Malone. St. Cloud follow-up
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Nice ball out wide. Take your time. Take your time. Across the box.
Ooh!
Whoa.
Wow,
That was a
what
great,
a chance.
really
so
nice
wide.
run.
Yeah, no, a great ball. Good
Shout
to get
out.
on it, too.
Ella Clow had that
Yeah,
cross.
we'll
I
see.
remember her number 20.
They'll probably only get one or two more chances. There's we'll see.
Maybe.
Let's see what they get.
Shout out, we mentioned earlier, shout out to Pence Homes. They have supported us forever. Nate and Lydia there helped me and my wife do multiple purchases. If you're watching this anywhere in Minnesota, they have sold and bought houses for folks everywhere across the state. They know realtors in other neighboring states. St. Cloud getting downhill now. So if you ever need a realtor, do refinancing. Quam off the post. Holy smokes.
And she was in the goal. I think it wasn't a cross, but she was standing in the goal.
Holy smokes, we're rewinding.
Oh,
they're going to review. He did the visual review.
I don't think it was across the line, but we'll see. She was standing in the goal, but
I mean, the thing is, we're not going to be able to get an angle where we can see it.
Yeah,
but if you have goal line review, technically you have cameras on the post.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh, off the post.
So that's fine. I think it was. I think it was always
maybe.
In front.
Also, the call on the field was that it isn't a goal. So let's remember that.
It has to right. Wow.
It's the thing of like.
Right.
There has to be enough to overturn.
Irrefutable. Yeah. By the way, for folks, I still have the Moorhead and Crookston are still 2-2. 5 minutes left. They're approaching the end. Same with the other two. Obviously, we know Minnesota State Mankato's way up on Southwest. They already won 5-1. And then,
And so just to finish up on Pence Homes, if you're watching this, you are a hardcore like D2 fan. Your daughter plays in the NSIC. Someone plays in the NSIC. You should know there is that we know of. There is no outlet that I've ever seen that covers women's soccer the way we do, and the only reason that's possible is because of folks like Pence Homes who support us, folks on Patreon who support us. And so if you're able to give $2 a month to us, go to patreon.com/equal time. If you just need to use like Pence and say you came from us, that's actually just as helpful because then it shows Nate that he needs to keep supporting us. So any support you can give. And to be honest with you, if you're watching this, anytime you can share our stuff on social, that's as valuable as being a Patreon too. Like anytime you can share our stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever. So this winter review, I'm almost scared to jump forward in case I miss it.
No. And by the way, all these, everything we ever do in a show like this, which people who watch probably know, is on YouTube. So if you go to the live part or the video part of YouTube, every show we've ever done, if you search players
and Facebook too, if you're more of a Facebook person.
I don't have Facebook. So maybe we might be big on Facebook. I don't even know. I asked.
We are not. I can confirm we are not.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, no, it is. You can see archives of any of these things. So yeah, they are taking a while with this.
Yeah. Well, so I mentioned.
They're definitely doing it.
I mentioned it casually, but the way to think of it is anytime if you're ever at a game where you're close enough to the goals where you can look, if there is video review, it basically looks like two GoPros on each of the posts looking in.
They're on the post?
Yeah, looking across each other.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Wow.
So I didn't see the signal, but I'm sort of assuming it didn't get called. Yeah, so it's a goal kick.
Wow.
Or a reset from goal. So a minute left. Minute left still.
Yeah.
So Mark mentioned Minnesota State final 5-1 in Marshall. Concordia and Augie are in halftime in Aberdeen. And then Crookston and Moorhead the final minutes there too.
Yeah, it looks like it just finished. Oh, wait. Let's see. No, they have a couple minutes left.
St. Cloud really trying to get just one more chance.
Ooh.
Clow out wide.
Ooh.
Really good defense by Mary.
Send it wide. Yeah, no.
Brooke Quam trying to find an angle. Just trying to find any angle. Yeah, and see that's whistled against the...
Now it'll be done. 20 seconds. Yeah, that'll just be it. Unless they...
Yeah, nothing either of these teams to feel bad about. Just tough because
you
always want to win.
That's a very fair result.
Especially on the road.
Yeah. And yeah, you could switch over. I mean, I'm Moorhead and Crookston. Only a minute 45 left. They're tired.
Yeah, we can.
But yeah, shout out to St. Cloud remains in their conversation. Mary too. Like they've had a solid year so far. They're looking very competitive. They'll have their tournament opportunity for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think the standings. Oh, so that game did end. It sent me, or no, excuse me, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think the standings will update live. Otherwise, I would pull up the standings and do a quick walkthrough too. But
No,
in short, Mankato remains the team to beat. They are unbeaten still. Bemidji only has that one loss. St. Cloud has a loss and 3 ties, so they're gonna have to start knocking some 3 wins. Northern, and again, we mentioned Northern and Bemidji play at 5:30. I don't think we're going to stick around for that whole game, but that'll be a huge game. Bemidji's in second, Northern's in fourth. Only 1 point between the two of them, and so everyone in that middle class is entirely jumbled up. It's every single result matters.
Yep.
Wow.
No,
Holy
tight
smokes.
as ever. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah.
Wow.
No, tight as it's ever been in terms of who can compete, especially for just the last spots. Yeah.
And we will say too, that's what makes that first round of the NSIC tournament so crucial, because as we said, it's the top seed remaining after the first round. And so the top 4 seeds get to host, but you can get knocked out. Concordia went down to Minnesota State Mankato and beat them and took their spot in the Final Four. Like if you still have to win that opening game. So that single elimination in that first round is what is so crazy.
Right.
And now we are final. And so the Rock stays place.
In Moorhead with the Spuds, I guess.
Wow.
All right. I got to roll, buddy. We'll see you later.
Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Find us for NSIC conference time. I might cheat and hop up and try and catch some regular season games too. Before then, you see then the upcoming games for both of these teams. Every single one of these will be big. See you guys around. Thanks so much for joining us.